Have you ever driven past something at night and felt your body tell you to keep going, even though you didn't know why? On March 17, 2024, Maya Torres ignored that feeling. At exactly 1:19 a.m., security footage captured her pulling over at mile 47 of Highway 209. 30 seconds later, when the camera panned back, her car was still there. Engine running, driver's door wide open. But Maya was gone. What happened in those 30 seconds has investigators questioning everything they thought they knew about disappearances. Because the evidence doesn't just fail to make sense, it suggests something impossible. This is the Mile 47 case. And I need to warn you, the footage you're about to hear described will stay with you long after this video ends. Before we go deeper into what allegedly happened that night, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. We love hearing from our community around the world. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button now, because we investigate cases that don't add up, mysteries that make you question what's possible, and disappearances that authorities can't explain. This story will make you think twice about every highway you've ever traveled at night. Maya Torres was 26 years old, a nursing assistant at County General Hospital in Riverside. She worked the evening shift, 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., the kind of hours that mess with your sleep schedule and leave you driving home when the world feels empty and strange. March 17th was supposed to be a normal night. She clocked out at 3:07 a.m., texted her roommate that she was heading home, and got into her silver Honda Accord. The drive from the hospital to her apartment was 43 minutes on Highway 209, a two-lane road that cuts through mostly empty farmland and scattered woods. It's the kind of highway where you might see 3 or 4 cars the whole drive at that hour, where your headlights are the only light for miles, where if something goes wrong, help isn't coming quickly. Maya had driven this route hundreds of times. She knew every curve, every exit, every stretch where you had to watch for deer crossing. Her roommate Jen said Maya was actually comfortable with the late-night drive. She'd listen to podcasts, drink her gas station coffee, text when she got home. It was routine, safe, boring even. But at mile 47, something changed. Traffic camera footage, which we'll get to, shows her car suddenly slowing. Not a gradual deceleration like you'd do for an exit. An abrupt slowdown, brake lights flashing. The kind of stop you make when something appears in your path. The timestamp reads 1:17 a.m. Her car pulls onto the narrow shoulder. Hazard lights start blinking. For 2 minutes, nothing happens. The car just sits there. Hazards blinking. No movement visible through the windows. Then, at 1:19 a.m., the driver's door opens. Maya steps out. The camera angle is distant, taken from a traffic monitoring post half a mile up the road, so you can't see her face clearly. But you can see her body language. And it's wrong. She doesn't move like someone checking a tire or looking for something she dropped. She stands beside her car for approximately 8 seconds, completely still. Then turns to face the woods on the passenger side of the highway. Just stands there, staring. At 1:19:34 a.m. She takes 3 steps toward the tree line. Then, she stops again. From this distance, it looks like she's listening to something. Or maybe talking, though investigators couldn't confirm that from the footage. What happens next is where everything falls apart. At 1:19:49 a.m., Maya walks into the woods, not quickly, not running. Just walking. The way you'd walk towards someone you recognize calling your name. The tree line swallows her, and she's gone from camera view. The car sits there. Door open, engine running, hazards still blinking their steady rhythm. The traffic camera continues recording. At 1:20:15 a.m., the camera does a programmed pan, sweeping down the highway to check for other vehicles. When it pans back to mile 47 at 20:47 a.m. 32 seconds later, the scene is exactly the same. Car, open door, hazards. No, Maya. The camera records for 18 more minutes before a passing truck slows to check the abandoned vehicle. The truck driver, a man named Robert Chen, would later tell police that when he pulled up, he assumed someone was in the woods, relieving themselves or dealing with car trouble. But when he called out, nobody answered. He walked to the tree line, shined his flashlight into the woods, called again. Nothing. That's when he called 911. If you've been watching up to this point, drop a comment saying, "I'm still here." Let's see who's brave enough to keep going with this story. And if you believe people should be able to drive home from work without vanishing, hit that subscribe button, because what investigators found when they arrived makes this case go from strange to absolutely unexplainable. Police arrived at mile 47 at 1:52 a.m. Maya's car was exactly as the truck driver described. Engine running, burning through gas, driver's door wide open, hazards still flashing. Her purse was on the passenger seat. Her phone was in the cup holder, locked but showing no recent calls or texts after the message to her roommate at 3:07 a.m. Her coffee was still in the other cup holder, barely warm. Her work badge was clipped to the sun visor. Everything she would need to drive away was still in the car. But Maya herself was nowhere. Officers began a search of the immediate area, focusing on the woods where the camera had shown her walking. They expected to find her within minutes. Maybe she'd gotten disoriented, maybe a medical emergency, maybe she'd fallen and was unconscious. But the woods at mile 47 aren't deep. 20 yards in, they give way to a cleared field. You can walk through them in 2 minutes. Officers search the woods, the field beyond, the opposite side of the highway. Nothing. No sign of Maya. No torn clothing. No footprints in the soft ground, which had rained earlier that evening. Nothing. When the sun came up, they expanded the search, brought in dogs. The dogs picked up Maya's scent from her car, tracked it to the tree line exactly where the camera had shown her entering, and then the dogs lost it. Just stopped, sat down, refused to go further. The handlers said in 20 years of search and rescue, they'd never seen dogs lose a scent that completely without reason. No water to break the trail. No road she could have gotten into another vehicle. The scent just ended, as if Maya had stopped existing at that exact spot. Investigators processed her car. No signs of struggle. No fingerprints that didn't belong to Maya or her roommate. No indication anyone else had been in that vehicle. The camera footage was reviewed frame by frame. Between the time Maya walked into the woods and the time the camera panned back, there was a 32-second gap. Could she have walked out of the woods in a different location during those 32 seconds? Technically possible. But that would mean she circled through the woods, came back to the highway out of camera range, and then what? Started walking? No vehicles passed during that time, except the truck that stopped 20 minutes later. There was nowhere for her to go. This is where it gets disturbing. Investigators pulled Maya's phone records. At 1:19:09 a.m., 25 seconds before she walked into the woods, her phone recorded 4 seconds of audio. It wasn't a call. It wasn't a voice memo she intentionally started. It was some kind of accidental recording, triggered by the voice activation feature. When investigators listened to it, they heard Maya's breathing, quick and shallow like she was frightened or confused. Then they heard her voice, quiet, almost whispered. 3 words. "It's behind me." Then, the recording cut off. But here's the problem with that. The traffic camera shows Maya standing beside her car at 1:19:09 a.m. The angle shows both sides of the vehicle. There was nothing behind her. The road was empty. The woods were still. She was completely alone. So what was behind her? What did she see or sense that the camera didn't capture? Her roommate Jen told investigators that Maya had mentioned something strange the week before. She'd been driving home on the same highway. Same late hour. And she said she saw someone standing on the shoulder near mile 47. A woman in a white dress, just standing there at 2 in the morning. Maya had slowed down, thinking maybe someone needed help. But as she got closer, the figure stepped back into the trees and vanished. Maya told Jen it had freaked her out, but she convinced herself it was a trick of the headlights, shadows playing tricks. She even joked about it. Called it the highway ghost. Said she'd probably been watching too many scary videos. But after Maya disappeared, Jen reported that conversation to police. And that's when they started looking into the history of mile 47. What they found was disturbing. In the past 12 years, 6 people had called 911 from that specific stretch of highway, reporting the same thing. Someone standing on or near the road who vanished when approached. 3 of those reports were from truck drivers who would have no reason to make it up. 2 were from late-night commuters. 1 was from a police officer who'd been patrolling the area. All 6 described the same thing. A figure that appeared to be a woman, always wearing light-colored clothing. Always near mile 47. Always vanishing before anyone could get close enough to help. None of those 6 callers disappeared. They all drove away, confused but unharmed. So what made Maya different? Why did she pull over? Why did she get out of her car? Why did she walk into the woods? Investigators interviewed her family and friends, trying to understand her state of mind that night. Everyone said the same thing. Maya was practical, logical, safety conscious. She wouldn't pull over for a stranger at 1 in the morning. She wouldn't get out of her car in an isolated area. She wouldn't walk into dark woods alone. It went against everything about who she was. Her mother said Maya had always been the careful one, the one who checked her locks twice, who texted when she arrived places, who didn't take unnecessary risks. The idea that she would abandon her running car and walk into the woods made no sense to anyone who knew her. Unless she was following something. Or someone. Or thought she was. 3 weeks after Maya vanished, a hiker found something in the woods approximately 300 yards from mile 47. A single shoe. White nursing shoe, the kind Maya wore for work. It was confirmed to be hers through the wear patterns and a small mark on the sole, but the location made no sense. The shoe was 300 yards into the woods, far beyond where the dogs had lost her scent, far beyond where anyone had searched initially, because there was no logical way she could have gotten that far that fast. The area around the shoe was searched intensively. Nothing else was found. No second shoe. No other clothing. No sign of Maya. Just one shoe, sitting in the middle of nowhere, as if it had been placed there deliberately. If you're still watching, comment, "Justice for Maya," right now, because she deserves answers. And if you can't stand the idea of someone vanishing from a highway while just trying to drive home from work, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We don't let cases like this disappear just because they're difficult or because the answers don't make sense. The case went cold quickly. Police had no leads, no suspects, no clear direction to investigate. Maya's family held a vigil at mile 47, placing flowers and a small memorial where her car had been found. Her mother gave an interview where she begged anyone with information to come forward. She said not knowing was torture, that every day without answers felt like losing Maya all over again. The case was officially listed as a missing person investigation. But behind the scenes, detectives admitted they had no idea what had happened. The evidence pointed in impossible directions. She couldn't have walked away. She couldn't have been picked up by another vehicle. She couldn't have vanished into thin air. But all 3 of those impossible things seemed to be exactly what happened. Then, 4 months later, something else happened at mile 47. A woman named Lauren Scott was driving home from visiting family, taking Highway 209 because it was faster. She passed mile 47 around midnight. In her written statement to police, she said she saw a figure on the shoulder of the road. A woman in what looked like white, or very light-colored clothing. Lauren slowed down, thinking someone needed help, but as she got closer, the figure turned to face her car. Lauren said the moment it turned, she felt overwhelming dread, an instinctual terror that made her hit the gas and keep driving. She didn't stop. She didn't look back. She drove straight to the nearest police station and reported what she'd seen. When officers went back to check, there was nothing there. But Lauren's description matched the previous reports. And it matched what Maya had told her roommate about seeing someone at mile 47 the week before she disappeared. So what's really happening at mile 47? Is there someone luring drivers to pull over? Some kind of predator who's learned to exploit the isolation of that stretch of highway? Or is something else going on, something that doesn't fit into normal explanations? The fact that Maya's phone recorded her saying, "It's behind me," when nothing was visible, suggests she saw or sensed something real to her, even if the camera didn't capture it. The fact that 6 other people have reported seeing the same figure over 12 years suggests this isn't random. There's a pattern, a consistency that's hard to ignore. Maya Torres has been missing for 8 months now. Her case is still open, but there have been no new leads, no new evidence, no sightings. Her family continues to search, continues to keep her story alive, continues to beg for answers. The memorial at mile 47 has grown, with people leaving flowers and notes, some from strangers who heard about the case and felt moved to acknowledge that Maya mattered, that she deserves to be remembered as more than a mystery. She was a daughter, a friend, a healthcare worker who spent her nights taking care of others. She deserves better than to vanish without explanation. So, what do you think happened at mile 47? Was Maya lured by someone who knew how to manipulate people into stopping? Was there something about that location that made her lose her judgment or her sense of reality? Is there a rational explanation that investigators missed? Or is this something that exists outside of normal understanding? If you were driving Highway 209 at night and saw someone standing at mile 47, would you stop? Or would you remember Maya's story and keep driving? Drop your theory in the comments. Tell me what you think happened. And if you know someone who drives late at night on empty highways, share this video with them. Not to scare them, but to remind them that sometimes the safest thing you can do is keep driving, keep your doors locked, and trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Maya's story is a reminder that not every mystery has an answer, but every missing person has a family that deserves closure. Mile 47 is still there. The highway still runs through those same woods. And late at night, some drivers still report seeing a figure on the shoulder. But now, because of Maya's story, most of them don't stop. They slow down, they look, and then they keep going. They remember that Maya pulled over for just 30 seconds, and she never made it home. Subscribe to Crimelines Chronicles if you want to see more cases like this, more mysteries that challenge everything we think we understand about disappearances. We post every Sunday at 8 p.m. And if you believe that Maya Torres deserves to have her case solved, share this video. Keep her story alive. Because somewhere, somehow, there are answers. We just haven't found them yet.